Today we are getting into our very first episode of punch making. I wanted to pick a seasonal punch, and I wanted to pick kind of a modern punch that utilizes old school technique. So instead of doing a historic punch, which is what I will be getting into, and that's what I said in the live stream, and that is true, I will be getting into it. The very first one I wanted to do was a peach rum punch from the Aviary in Chicago. If you guys don't know what the Aviary is, it is a bar that is owned by Grant Achatz, Grant Achatz and Nick Kokonis. These are the two restaurateurs that created Alinea, and if you don't know what that restaurant is or who Grant Achatz is, you should do yourself a favor and take a look at Chef's Table Season 1 where they were featured, and you will see some of the very forward-thinking type of culinary endeavors they do there. It's pretty incredible, the food that they make and the ideas that go into it. And so when they made the Aviary, what they were doing was taking that forward-thinking approach to food and applying it to cocktails. And but what's great about it is they use all of these modern techniques and some stuff that could be called molecular gastronomy, but they apply it with the kind of old school knowledge of how to make great cocktails, and this is no exception. Also, this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode, and we're going to cut around because there's two parts to this. What I love about this punch is that half of the punch is frozen into an ice cube, and half of the punch is the punch base, and then basically you pour the punch over these ice cubes that we're going to make, and that creates your punch. And then you can either wait for the cube to melt, which doesn't take very long because when there's alcohol inside ice cubes, it actually doesn't freeze solid because alcohol doesn't really freeze, but everything else will freeze, so you have kind of this slushy ice. But you can always just take a little demi-tasse or a spoon and kind of mix it if you want. It is definitely seasonally appropriate. That's another reason why I wanted to bring it to you guys. And then the other thing that I wanted to say is that you're gonna need a good kitchen scale to create this because everything is portioned out by weight. I did it all so that you guys didn't have to watch me do it. All right, so let's get into it. So the very first part one, is making the ice cubes. We're gonna be making an elderflower peach ice cube. And what we basically do is we start with an oleosaccharum. Now, for those of you guys that have not seen the oleosaccharum episode on YouTube, just click the link below and we'll go in depth. But basically, in short, oleosaccharum is just a fancy Latin term for coating citrus peels in sugar. So what we did is we took 5 lemon peels, the peels of 5 lemons and the peels of 2 oranges, we put them in a bowl and we mixed them with 60 grams of sugar. And you basically take a blunt object like a wooden spoon or a muddler if you have one, and you muddle it down, and basically what you'll see is that the sugar starts to extract the oil from the peel. Now, why do we do this? We do this because a lot of the flavor is in the oils inside the peel, but there's not a lot of citric acid in there. So what you have is what Jerry Thomas would call the ambrosial essence of the fruit. It's basically the very intense flavor of the fruit without a lot of that citric acid, and back in the 1800s they used it as the base for punch. Okay, so first what we're gonna do is we take our oleosaccharum that we have portioned out, and then we do 110 grams of lemon juice. We're just gonna add that in, and then we're gonna do 115 grams of orange juice, and we're gonna add that in, and we're gonna give it a good mix. And basically what you have here when you add the citrus juices back into the oleosaccharum is what in the 1800s they would call sherbet or shrub. And this is the punch base that David Wondrich said separates what could be a good punch from a great punch is this mixture. And this is where you want to have, this is basically what you want to have your mixture be. So we're just going to stir it around a little bit. Then we are going to add 100 grams of water, 450 grams of peach nectar, and we're going to do 80 grams of Saint Germain elderflower liqueur. I was because I was forgetting the name. It's right here. Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, or any other elderflower liqueur you guys can get your hands on. And then we're just gonna well, spill things and give it a nice mix. You would basically want to just mix it until all of the sugar has dissolved. All right. I'm going to put this aside. We're going to grab up our bowl with our fine strainer, and we are going to fine strain out the peels because we do not want them anymore. And we can just cast those aside or put them in our, I guess you could just put them in your compost if you have one. Everybody should have a compost. I don't have one yet, but I want one. All right, there we go. And then we're going to add this into here so it'll be easier to put it in the ice cube mold. Marius just sneezed. Bless you, Marius. And then basically we're going to take a silicone ice cube mold. I got a pair of these for pretty cheap on Amazon. Link is below. And then we're just going to pour our ice cube mixture into it. And you want to leave it a little bit short of the rim because ice, like liquid, as it freezes, it expands. So you want to just leave it a little short of the rim. I kind of failed on this one a little bit, but that's okay. And you can just, there's a lot left over. You know what, Marius? We are going to get two. We're going to get two out of this. Now, of course, you are going to have to set these guys to freeze, and it is going to take quite a few hours for them to freeze. So we're just going to put them in the freezer. There you go. Cool. Almost two full cubes. Almost two full trays of cubes. The other thing is that you can prep all of this ahead of time. So basically, you could just start prepping this 24 hours before your party, and then when you make the punch base, which is what we're going to start getting into in a couple of seconds here, is you just put it in the fridge and you can just chill it down. Or you can, obviously prep these 24 hours in advance and then do your punch base. Put it on a big rock of ice right before you're going to serve it, and then you can ladle it out and just make sure freeze these 24 hours in advance. Which I don't know why I'm telling you that. It kind of bears mention. It doesn't. It goes without saying that you're gonna have to freeze these. All right, I'm gonna put these in the freezer now. All right. Are you filming me going into the freezer? That's pretty cool. Do you actually see it? All right. All right. Well, now I'm gonna prep part 2, and we're gonna make the punch base. Then we can actually put this thing together. All right. See you in a couple minutes. All right, guys, we're back. Here we are going to now make the punch base. There's a couple of things that you need to note before we continue. We are using pisco in this, but we are using a very specific kind of pisco called Mosto Verde Pisco. And basically what that is a specialized pisco that has been made by distilling the semi-fermented green must of the grape, which gives it enhanced flavor. You do not have to use this brand. This is the brand that Aviary uses, and so I just decided to find it and go get it. It's a little bit of an expensive bottle. It retails at about 50 bucks. There are other companies like Barsol that also make a Mosto Verde Pisco, but just make sure that you use that style if you really want to get a very I don't know, I guess like authentic kind of flavor for this. You know, I can't tell you how other piscos are going to be inside this punch. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we took 500 grams of water and we simmered it on the stove. You wanna just simmer it and make it hot. And you are only actually adding in about 475 grams. The reason why we put 500 grams there is to account for evaporation of the water when it simmers. Okay, so we're just gonna add that water into our lemon peel mixture. And I also just forgot to say, I'm gonna discard this. Forgot to say that we made a oleosaccharum, but this time we only used 2 lemons and we used 130 grams of sugar. So we let that sit for half an hour. So you take 2 lemons, peel them, put the 130 grams of sugar, muddle them, just like you did for the ice cubes, and you'll let that, for the ice cubes, and then you let that sit for 30 minutes, okay? And then what we're gonna do is just gonna give it a nice stir. And then we're gonna add some chai tea bags. So another reason why I love this punch is that, you know, black tea is very traditional in punches. And they're using the spice tea here. So we're gonna add these in. And then we're gonna set a timer for 4 minutes because that is the time it's gonna take for the sugar to really fully dissolve and for these to steep. So let me set my timer for 4 minutes. Timer. 4 minutes, start. Here we go. I got my timer set. We're gonna set that aside. We have our glass jar. And then basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna stir this and we're gonna sort of jump these around to aid in extracting the flavor from the tea. So you wanna stir. You also just wanna jump these around a little bit, not lose the tea bag in your thing. I probably could have just tied these together and just like kind of jump them around, right? And then just like stir to make sure you're dissolving the sugar. And then also commonly, the common thought behind using hot water in punches is that you want to add the hot water to the sugar to dissolve the sugar before you add your liquor. Now there are 2 different thought processes, whether you add the liquor before or after, but I will say that sugar dissolves a lot better in hot water than it does in room temperature alcohol. So yeah, press that down. And I guess I'll just like keep doing this. And Marius can decide when he wants to cut because we are not going to force you guys to watch 4 minutes of this.
Are we not?
I don't know, are we? That's your decision, really. Do you guys really want to see 4 minutes? This will be like, hey, by the way, this is a 45-minute episode, and four whole minutes of it is just stirring.
I mean, we can't force them to watch it. They can always.
No, we can't. I mean, we could make it entertaining by arguing with one another or whatever. I mean, we were doing such a good job arguing about why we took a 2-week break and why we don't have more.
No, it was Patreon. 1 week break.
And then what?
It was 1 week break.
Oh no.
Yeah, we haven't shot.
We haven't shot for 2 weeks, which made it a 1 week break. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the correction. There we go. Wow, look at that. We have 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. So.
Well, you guys might as well just stick around and watch the whole thing.
Really? I mean, they can also fast forward. Here's the thing what's really funny about people who complain about the length of time it takes for me to get into episodes on YouTube is that I just don't understand if they don't realize that they can fast forward. The point of this channel is to learn about the technique of building cocktails and the history behind them, and then how to make the drink. But if you have good technique, you'll make a better drink, right? But there's a lot of people who just want the recipe, and I feel like it'd be rude to tell them to just go to another channel that is just a recipe channel. It's like, maybe this channel isn't right for you. The point is the talking in this channel. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
And, you know, maybe the bickering.
I think it's just, people just want to share their opinions.
You think? Yeah. You think people just want to feel heard? I mean, I'm glad that we have given some people a venue in which they can, or a forum in which that they can feel heard, you know. Here we go. This is looking good. It's smelling good too. Oh, it's like, it smells nice and spicy. All right, I'm gonna stop. I don't know if I broke one of the tea bags. Well, maybe so. All right, we'll just let those sit. I think that's enough flavor extraction anyway. One of the tea bags might be ripped because I'm seeing little tea bits, but you know what? You can eat a tea bit. It's not a big deal. You know, here we go. 47 seconds of tea. And then we're going to strain it. We're going to double strain it here.
And then it doesn't matter if the tea bag broke or not. You could have just poured it straight into, because it's very fine. usually.
Yeah,
They use
that's true.
the leftover tea for the bags.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna go check something out real quick. I'm back. That was quick.
Okay, it's 20 seconds.
13 seconds. We're down to 10, 9, 8. Is that annoying? It's kind of annoying, isn't it? Here we go. It's gonna 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. There we go. 4 minutes. Now, what we're gonna do is take our double strain up. I say double strain, but it's really just a single strain. We're gonna fine strain. That's what we're gonna do. All of this stuff into the bowl like that. Wow. We're gonna discard the solids and tea bags. All right. Set it here. We're going to add 216 ounces of the Mosto Verde Pisco. I almost said Pico, like the Boulevard, but Pisco. 216 grams. And then we are going to do 208 grams of Plantation Overproof rum. I love me some of this stuff. And then we're just going to do 32 grams of peach liqueur. We're going to give that a nice little stirry poo. That's our punch base. And this is kind of a punch base that everyone should be a little bit afraid of because it's got 216 grams, which is about 3/4 of a cup of, 208 grams, which is still about just shy of 3/4 of a cup of overproof rum. And I believe it's like 69%. Yeah, that's robust rum. So what we're gonna do is add it to a container, a glass container of your choice, or a bottle if you have one with a cap. I do not at the moment. They're all used up and in the fridge. And we're just gonna, we're gonna spill half the punch base everywhere. Add everything back in here. If you spill, you can just do what I do, which is like, Oh, that's so good. Ooh, that is so good. I am glad we made this punch today. I'm not so glad that I spilled so much of it everywhere, but let's clean up our workspace. It's okay. We're like, this show's like Julia Child. We lean into the mistakes. We're just gonna cap it off like so, and we are going to set it into the fridge for chilling. Whew. It smells like a wino over here now because I spilled everywhere. Overproof rum and pisco. All right, we're gonna set this to the fridge to chill. All right, guys, it's time to assemble our punch. Now, a couple things. First, we have our chilled punch base right here, and then we have our cubes that we froze. This is our elderflower peach ice that we froze. And we froze yesterday. And then we have a little bit of fresh lemon juice. Now, if you were gonna be building this for a party and serving the punch all at once, you would take 115 grams of lemon juice and add it to the punch base with a big rock of ice, like a big punch rock. If you guys don't know how to freeze that rock, link is below for our freezing clear ice episode, and you'll just freeze like a big old piece of ice. You just set that into a bowl, set this in it, 115 grams of lemon juice, and then you build the cocktail. But because I want to keep this good because there's no actual citrus in this, and citrus will go bad, and I can actually keep this good, and these guys will be good, not indefinitely, but for quite some time in the freezer. I can keep this good. So I'm just going to build a one-off. So I'm just going to add half an ounce, or like maybe a fat 1/4 of an ounce of lemon juice into our glass. And then I'm going to take our chilled mixture. Oh no, before I take our chilled mixture, I'm going to take our ice, and you'll see that you get like this nice ice cube here, but it's not 100%. It's not 100%. It's frozen. It's very like sticky. And then we're just gonna.
It's like a bouillon.
It's like a bouillon, yeah, kind of, yeah. And you just stick that in there, and we're gonna grab another one, using pincers to do it. And
2 for each serving?
So you do 2 for each serving, yeah. So you do 2 of these ice cubes, okay? And then you do your lemon juice inside the punch base if you're doing it, or if you just want to do a one-off, do half an ounce or a fat 1/4 or whatever, and then you just ladle your punch. on top. Your punch should be cold, and really you should make the serving size as big or as little as you want. I'm gonna do about 4 ounces or something. Now, you got your ice in here, and basically what you're doing is basically adding this into, you know, separate ways, which is awesome. I love this kind of two-step punch process. You get the base, which is really good. You've got the ice cubes, which is really good. It is kind of designed to, like, if you want to kind of mix them all together, you can take a demi-tasse spoon and sort of just like mix them. But what's great is that as this sits, it evolves into a new punch. So as you sip it and as these ice cubes melt, you will get something that's more intensely elderflower, a little more peach, and a little sweeter as you go. It's so good. So you've got the overproof rum mixes so well with the pisco. You've got that extra sharpness from the lemon juice that we added into the cocktail. And you've got that nice peach elderflower just coming through it all. It's just so well balanced. I really love this cocktail. It's just so well balanced. There's so many layers of flavor. It's a really nice presentation, and it's a really kind of great modern way to sort of present your punch. And I just think that, you know, these sort of modern techniques added in with old school techniques to make these wonderful punches is just phenomenal. I will say that this is a very dangerous punch. It is got quite a bit of overproof rum in there, and so you're serving this wonderful, awesome punch to guests. You should just make sure that they know that it's very alcoholic. People tend to be kind of afraid of punches anyway. I did a Halloween party for someone this year where we built a couple of punches, and a lot of people drank punch, but people usually tend to shy away from punch because when they go back into their mind about what punch is, it recalls college or high school kind of jungle juice style things. And they don't really understand a lot of the times how much kind of work and preparation goes into and balancing of flavors go into like a properly made punch. So there you have it, my friends. The peach rum punch from the Aviary. Oh, I mean, I would say all the stuff, but I don't have to say like and subscribe because you guys are my subs. You guys are my special peeps. All right, guys. Well, I'll just see you guys on the next Patreon video. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to be soon, and hopefully it's going to be sooner than later. Until then, guys.